It is Sunday, March 20th in the NBA, and I'm back with my two best picks of the day. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Let's get into a recap from yesterday. A really disappointing day. We gave out two plays. We had Karl-Anthony Towns under in rebounds, and then Giannis is over in points plus rebounds. Naturally, Giannis gets ruled out, which kind of screws over our Karl-Anthony Towns under, who finishes on the hook with 11. That's betting in the NBA. The weekend basketball is really tough to bet. There's always some random injuries, and that's probably going to be the case over the last 12-ish games of the season. But either way, we're going to keep getting after it. Not much we can do about that. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're going to keep grinding, doing these videos every single day. We're closing in on 29,000 subscribers. We're almost at 28.5. Let's see if we can hit that today. Click that like button too. Shout out to our COS All-Stars. We appreciate you guys. You keep supporting the community regardless. We got Dean and Tony O 2021. We appreciate our newest All-Stars. If you want to become an All-Star, click the join button on the channel or click the link in the description, or also click the pinned comment. I'll also put it there as well. Either way, let's hop into it and let's waste no more time. This is not the best slate in the NBA that you'll see, and it's a Saturday or it's a Sunday, and we got some games starting earlier, so definitely be on the lookout if you're watching after 3:30. There have been some games that have started, but we're going to start with one guy in one of those games. His name is Josh Hart. We're taking his over 29.5 PRAs, minus 120 on DraftKings, and I do like this at 30.5, and I do like his individual points if you had to take an individual line, but like I said earlier, this is an early tip-off, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, so if it's past that time by the time you're watching, hopefully Josh Hart's treating us pretty nicely, but we'll see about him. Now, Hart been very solid over the past 4 games. He's averaged 29.3 points per game, 6.3 rebounds per game, and 5 assists per game for a total of 40.6 PRAs per game. I won't lie to you, that's a little bit of an inflated line as he's had a 44-point outburst versus the Wizards, but still, in those 4 games, 58, 42, 25, and 37 PRAs, hitting this over in 3 of those 4. His one miss was the game he only played 28 minutes, and he's played 36 minutes in all the other games. So likely would have hit that over too if he played his normal minutes. It was a blowout. The Blazers did get blown out, and that is what the Blazers do. They do get blown out, but this is a team, this is a prime matchup against the Pacers, because truthfully, I don't know if either of these teams want to win. Both teams are comfortable with the loss, and the Pacers are one of the fastest playing teams post-All-Star break with Tyrese Haliburton, Brogdon, and now Buddy Hield all running the show, and there's going to be a ton of points, rebounds, and assists to go to opposing guards and big men. Now, Hart has only played the Pacers once recently. He played them back in February or January. He had 34 PRAs, only 11 field goal attempts in that game. Obviously, he was still a member of the Pelicans, but we still saw him. He only attempted 11 field goal attempts in his last 4 games, 15-plus field goal attempts in all 4 of them. He's been really shooting the ball well, and look, the Blazers, if you go on their injury report, probably take the rest of the day to read it because they're missing a ton of guys, and look, it's basically going to be Hart. Trendon Watford should have a pretty decent game, and Brandon Williams. I actually think Brandon Williams has a good game as well. He's been driving to the rim a lot, but just like driving to the rim like Brandon Williams, who's number 1 on the team. Right behind him is Josh Hart, who's been averaging 12 drives per game over the past 4 games. And if you drive against the Pacers team, probably going to have pretty good success as they don't have a lot of big men down there. Goga Bitadze is questionable today. I believe Isaiah Jackson is out, if I'm not mistaken. But look, the over-under set at 233 points. There's 2 teams that don't really want to play a lot of defense. They don't really care if they win or lose, in my opinion. They're just going to see what they got in their young guys, and I think Josh Hart's going to play a lot of minutes. We'll see him pile up the stats, and I'll take us over 29.5 PRAs. I really like the bet, and we're going to be taking him as the best bet of the day. Now let's move on to another guy's PRA line, a rookie, Scottie Barnes. We're taking his over 27.5 PRAs, minus 120 on FanDuel. Now, feels good to be back on the Scottie Barnes train. We were really riding him earlier this season. He's making us a lot of money, and we haven't really touched his props a whole lot, but we should be touching them today. Wow, this is getting pause. But I do like Scottie Barnes here, and here's why. Now, we might be a game behind, but let me talk about it. Now, Raptors are in Philly taking on the Sixers. OG Anunoby and Malachi Flynn both out for the Raptors. Anunoby's a little bit more important than Flynn. No offense to him. Now, Scottie has played in 26 games this season without OG Anunoby, OG Anunoby missed some time early in the season, missed a lot of the recent games. In those games, Scottie Barnes, 17.2 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, and 3.7 assists per game for 29.4 PRAs per game. And if I didn't say it above, 28.5 is a fine line too. But Scottie, he's played the Sixers once this season, and Anunoby was in that game, and he had 26 PRAs versus the Sixers, and that was only on 13 field goal attempts. Now, over Scottie's last 5 games, 16-plus field goal attempts in all 5 of the games. Been very aggressive attacking the boards and shooting his shot. And look, post All-Star break, Scottie been pretty dang good. And while I doubt he'll win the Rookie of the Year award trophy, I do think he's at least in the question. He'll probably be in the top 3 or 4, and he could have a case for making it after this recent stretch. Now, Scottie, since the All-Star break, played in 13 games, averaged 19.8 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, and 3.5 assists per game for 32.1 PRAs per game, clearly clearing this line. He's hit this over in 9 of 13 games post-All-Star break, all of which have been without OG Anunoby. Now, I look at this matchup, and I really like it for him. Now, the Sixers aren't necessarily a team that gives up a ton of, points, rebounds, and assists to opposing power forwards or small forwards, but just realistically, talking about it from a basketball sense, I like this matchup for him because, one, he's not going to guard Joel Embiid. There's no chance they put him on him. We'll likely see Pascal Siakam or Kem Birch or Chris Boucher guard him, and they definitely won't be Barnes. And then we look at who's going to guard Harden. Not going to be Scottie Barnes either. That will be Gary Trent Jr.'s job. Then Tyrese Maxey. That will be probably, if I were to guess, Fred VanVleet's job. And that leaves Barnes on either Tybal or Tobias Harris. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they put him on Thibault, who's just camps out in the corner. So I really like it for Barnes today. He'll just be camping out, hopefully grabbing some rebounds, kind of playing more of a floater role, because they don't really involve Matisse Thybulle too much into the offense, although they probably should, because he's pretty good on the pick and roll with Harden. But either way, when Niang comes in, I'll like to be guarding Niang. And look, I like Scottie to keep going. He's been really shooting the ball well and really attacking the rim. And he's playing a ton of minutes. This guy's played 40-plus minutes in 3 straight games. In the 13 games post-All-Star break, 36.9 minutes per game. He's playing a ton. He's going to be out there. And this is the Raptors team that's trying to catch the Cavaliers. I believe they're right on their heels, right around like 1 game back. Just very close in terms of record. And that's between the difference between the 6 seed and the 7 seed. Obviously, you don't want to be in the 7 seed because then you're in the play-in game, likely against the Brooklyn Nets. And then you have a potential drop into the 8 seed. Then you're playing, the number 1 seed in the conference. So I don't think the Raptors want to do that. They want to get up that 6 seed. So they're going to be playing their guys a lot of minutes, especially without OG Anunoby. We should see Mr. Scottie Barnes approach, again, 40-plus minutes in this one. So I like it. Scottie should be able to continue his superb play. He's made us a lot of money all in the regular season earlier on. Back in 2021, we're coming back to him, and I think he can get it done for us today. Now, the rest of the slate, I want to talk about a couple other games and a couple other plays that I did consider. Now, if I had to pick a spread pick, I'm going back to the Grizzlies. I believe this is a lean. I'm not going to make any of these official plays, but I do like the Grizzlies in this one today. Now, they got to bounce back. They seem to play better without Ja Morant. I don't know what it is. Their defensive focus is much better, and Ja Morant is out today. I think they'll bounce back and step up and win big time today. Now, let's look at a couple other games. Look at the Jazz versus Knicks. It's a future COS Hall of Famer. Rudy Gobert has been absolutely killing his rebounds line. Now, I will let you know, if they make it 12.5, it's a 1-unit play. And you don't have to ask me, Austin, do we like it at 12.5? It's a 1-unit play. Now, if they make it 12.5, I would be very surprised. I expect this to be 13.5. And then I'll really consider it because he has hit that in a couple of his recent games against the Knicks, and he's been very good hitting that. But I do like the 12.5 number so much better than 13.5. But we'll consider it. We'll talk about it. Now, Donovan Mitchell also like his overs today. They will be out Mike Conley and Bojan Bogdanovic. So really it's just going to be Mike Conley or Donovan Mitchell holding the ball. I assume Donovan Mitchell is back. I didn't see him on the injury report. Maybe he's out today. And then Jordan Clarkson, I guess, is firing up 45 shots. But I like both those two guys. Stay tuned for the pinned comment down below for any added plays because those guys will likely be there. Now, another guy that could be added, and I'm only going to add probably one play. It's Sunday in the NBA. You don't really want to force a lot of plays. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over, and Darius Bazley's over. Now, I know that goes against everything we believe in here, but look, Darius Bazley, very good as of the last 3 or 4 games, shooting the ball a lot. And it hasn't been really that I thought Bazley was terrible. It's that in some games he just did not shoot the ball, and that's what he was doing earlier this season over basically every game besides the last 4. But recently he's been shooting it a lot, playing a lot of minutes, and look, he went under against the Heat, but everyone goes under against the Heat, and this should be a good matchup for him against the Magic. Should be able to score and do whatever he wants on offense. And then look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's been an absolute beast, a cash cow for a lot of people over the last couple months, or last probably month and a half. And look, the Magic have allowed a 50-point scorer in 2 straight games. I don't know how many teams have allowed a 50-point scorer in 2 straight in NBA history, but that's the Magic at the moment. And look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if you're picking a 50-point score, he's going to be your guy, and I think he'll be able to get wherever he wants at will. The Magic don't play a lick of defense, and I think he should be able to do whatever he wants. But maybe we add one of those guys just because I like their matchup. Obviously, Magic have been getting abused by opposing big men. Darius Bazley would be that today. Now, we look at the Nuggets and Celtics game, probably one of the bigger ones on the slate in terms of 2 teams that are, actually good. And Magic Thunder is not a good matchup that you really look at. Jazz Knicks, no. But the Nuggets and Celtics, 2 playoff teams that will be playing each other. Now, Nikola Jokic's lines are low, and I don't blame him for being low as it's a tough matchup matchup against the Celtics. But I do think Marcus Smart has a decent game here, so that's why I looked at his over in PRAs. I'm not necessarily going to add it. Don't really want to touch this game. I do envision this being a very low-scoring game like it was the first time they matched up. I believe the total points was like 210. So I think that's around what they will score today, but I'm not really going to touch it. But Marcus Smart, I think, has a decent game. Jason Tatum, I probably wouldn't take his overs. And Jaylen Brown, I don't know about him. Robert Williams might have a decent game just because Robert Williams picks and chooses when he has good games. And maybe he steps up like he did last time against the Nuggets, but not really going to touch it too much. Now, the last game I wanted to look at, Warriors versus Spurs. I'm looking at Jordan Poole today. Now, I don't really know if you want to take his lines at the moment as he'll have more defensive focus on him, but the Spurs, they don't play like a defense. Now, the Spurs did get blown out in their last game, so that's obviously a recipe for Jordan Poole to not hit his over today, but Jordan Poole been very solid as of late, and he's been killing it. And look, this is the Warriors team. They'll now be down Stephen Curry, and while Klay Thompson will, be playing his normal role, they're not just randomly chucking Klay Thompson in the game for 40 minutes. They ain't doing that. So we're going to see Jordan Poole play a lot without Klay Thompson on the court, a lot of minutes today. So Jordan Poole, some guy to monitor over the next couple weeks with Steph Curry out, that maybe we'll be taking some overs for him because he's been very good as of late. Although on the flip side, you could argue, well, now he's going to have more defensive focus because now Stephen Curry's not taking three guys' eyes off of him. So it's going to be interesting. I won't probably play Jordan Poole today. Just going to let it shake out exactly what we see. But as of right now, my two official plays, riding with Mr. Scottie Barnes over 27.5 PRAs and Josh Hart 2 higher to over 29.5 PRAs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't force too much on a Sunday slate. It's really not normally a good slate in the NBA. Normally the games are exactly the opposite what you'd expect, but I like these two plays. We'll be riding with them, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys on Monday. Let's get after it, baby. Peace.